This is Qtv Nightly News, which is also on Q Radio 103.3 FM. I am Umudu Gajaga and thank you for joining us. Here are the headlines. Judges of the Ecowas Court of Justice on Tuesday paid a courtesy call on President Adama Barrow as part of an official visit to strengthen engagement with national stakeholders. More than 700 staff transferred from the Gambia Ports Authority to Al Port Banjul have staged a peaceful protest demanding improved welfare conditions, timely salaries and overtime compensation. Following the discovery and arrest of a 44-year-old Nigerian woman in Canada in possession of 5 fraudulent Gambian passports, the Gambia Immigration Department has issued a statement addressing the banter. To commemorate the 10th anniversary of the resumption of diplomatic relations between China and the Gambia, the 23rd China medical team to visit the Gambia has donated medicines worth $1 million to Bansang General Hospital. The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, in collaboration with Oyster Women's Association, commemorated the National Oyster Day in the Gambia under the theme promoting a sustainable and inclusive oyster value chain. Those were the headlines, now the news in detail. Welcome and thank you for joining us. This is Qtv News. Judges of the Ecowas Court of Justice on Tuesday paid a courtesy call on President Adama Barrow at the State House as part of an official visit to strengthen engagement with national stakeholders. Ansumane Sonyasi was at the State House and he now reports.
The delegation comprising 5 judges was led by Gambian-born legal practitioner Marie Sen, the court's current acting registrar. Following a closed-door meeting with President Barrow, Madam Sen told reporters that the visit to the presidency forms part of a broader outreach effort to sensitize key actors in the Gambia on the mandate and jurisdiction of the court, adding that it gave them an opportunity to engage and brief the president on the court's work.
We are on a sensitization mission to the Gambia. This is the first time that the Ecowas Community Court of Justice is coming to the Gambia to undertake a sensitization mission since its inception. This is part of our promotional activities that we do at the court. We go to member states, we meet with the citizens, we meet with the different stakeholders to sensitize them on the work that the court does, on the mandate of the court, on the jurisdiction, and how also citizens can access the court.
She also said that the president welcomed their visit and among other things emphasized the importance of sustained collaboration between national institutions and the court, and that he reiterated his administration's commitment and support to the court, wider principles of justice and rule of law.
He appreciated the visit. He also informed that this is the first time he is meeting with the Community Court of Justice, so he was very appreciative of it. And he also encouraged the court to ensure that, these visits and these engagements continue are frequent in the Gambia and in other member states. He also made commitment that the Gambia is here to support the court under his administration.
Additionally, Sen, who previously served as Attorney General under former President Jammeh, disclosed that the delegation will embark on a series of engagements over the next 3 days. These, he added, will include meetings with civil society as well as women and youth groups with a view to raising awareness about the court's functions.
Tomorrow, we're going to have a 3-day sensitization mission. Tomorrow will be the opening, and we'll be having an official opening session with dignitaries from the Ministry of Justice, from the Ministry of Trade that are responsible for ECOWAS matters. We're also having the Chief Justice, the Speaker of the National Assembly. All of them will be part of the opening ceremony to make statements at the opening.
The 5 visiting judges are expected to hold technical sessions with members of the Gambia's judiciary aimed at fostering cooperation and deepening institutional relations between national and regional legal systems. In the past, the Gambia has faced criticism for failing to implement judgments handed down by the ECOWAS court, mainly relating to Jammeh-era human rights violations. The visit by these judges underscores ongoing efforts by the ECOWAS court to expand its visibility and accessibility across member states, strengthen enforcement of the court's judgments, while reinforcing its role in promoting justice and human rights in the region. Ansumane Sonyasi for Qtv News.
More than 700 staff transferred from the Gambia Ports Authority to Al Port Banjul have staged a peaceful protest demanding improved welfare conditions, timely salary payments and overtime compensation. The workers submitted a petition to management warning of a possible industrial action if their concerns are not addressed. Usman Jatta reports.
These are workers of Alport Banjul expressing frustration over what they described as worsening working conditions following their transfer from the Gambia Ports Authority. The staff say they are facing delayed salaries, lack of overtime payments, and extended working hours from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. without compensation. The protest was organized by the Alport Staff Association, led by its president, Adama Jatta.
What we are just demanding is a fair concern on our welfare. We were promised that we will move into Alport under the same terms and conditions. Nothing will change. As I speak to you right now, there are staff who go home with $2,500 every month. And now the Tobaski is approaching. There are no internal loans. We cannot even take loans at the bank. So what do they want the staff to live on? Are we supposed to work like this and then stay wretched until we retire?
The workers later managed to submit a petition to the managing director of the Gambia Ports Authority, Osman Jabate.
It's a reserve matter, and the GPA will always be there to protect the welfare of the staff, so that your conditions on the Alport will be no less than what you have on the GPA.
The protest comes amid concerns over the concession agreement between the Gambia Ports Authority and Turkish company Albayrak, which operates Alport Banjul. The 30-year deal, which began in early 2025, includes a 6-year management of the existing Banjul port and a 24-year plan to develop a deep-sea port in Sanyang. Under the agreement, Albayrak holds 80% of the port's revenue, while the government retains 20%. The deal is currently under renegotiation following reported delays in meeting key targets included in the deal. Meanwhile, staff have issued a 28-day strike notice stating to respond to their demands and failure to fully implement agreed transfer conditions within the time frame will trigger strike action. They say promises to maintain their previous terms of service on the GPA have not been honored. Concerns also include unclear salary structures, limited staff benefits, lack of promotion pathways, and the absence of comprehensive human resource policies. The workers are now demanding either a full return of HR responsibilities to GPA or a reversal of their transfer to Alport. They warn that failure to meet these demands could result in a strike, potentially disrupting port operations. Amid the ongoing protests, Albayrak, Alport's parent company, has begun geotechnical studies for the proposed deep-sea port in Sanyang, marking a key step in the early phase of the project, and construction of the road leading from the main road down to the new port at Sanyang is well advanced. The development is part of a $580 million investment under the concession agreement. Unlike Banjul, the Sanyang port will be a deep-sea port designed to accommodate large vessels with a depth of at least 12 meters, will enhance the efficiency of cargo handling and reduce shipping times. It will also significantly expand the Gambia's maritime capacity and strengthen trade operations. Osman Jatta, QTV News.
Following the discovery and arrest of a 44-year-old Nigerian woman in Canada in possession of 5 fraudulent Gambian passports, the Gambia Immigration Department has issued a statement clarifying the documents were not issued through the country's official immigration system. Usman Jatta reports.
The Gambia Immigration Department handles thousands of passport and national ID applications annually, providing services to citizens in the country and those in the diaspora. The 44-year-old Nigerian woman, identified as Nenna Oketa, a resident of Caledon, Ontario, was arrested after Canadian border authorities reportedly discovered 5 fraudulent Gambian and 2 South African passports in her possession. According to the Canada Border Service Agency, the documents were concealed inside a pair of sandals in a package sent from Nigeria, and all of the seized passports featured the same photograph, but with different names and what it describes as inconsistent biographical details. an indication that they were counterfeit. The investigation began after a CBSA Border Service officer referred a 1,606 kg shipment arriving from Nigeria for examination. In a statement published on its official Facebook page, the Gambia Immigration Department clarified that reference to fraudulent passports from the Gambia relate only to the apparent origin or labeling of the documents, not their authenticity. The department emphasized that it is the sole legally mandated authority responsible for issuing Gambian passports, all of which are produced through secure and verifiable systems. It further stated that the passports in question were not issued by the department and are therefore deemed counterfeit. The GID's Intelligence and Investigation Unit has reached out to Canadian authorities to better understand the circumstances surrounding the seizure and to support ongoing investigations into transnational document fraud. Officials also say the Gambia maintains a secure passport issuance system in line with international standards set by the International Civil Aviation Organization (ICAO). The press release from the Canadian Border Service Agency quotes Inspector John Mark Maff, the officer in charge at Toronto Pearson's Airport Detachment, as saying this investigation underscores the critical role of interagency cooperation in safeguarding Canada's borders. Working closely with partners at the Canada Border Services Agency allows us to protect Canadians from the risk posed by fraudulent identification documents. The Gambia Immigration Department reaffirmed its commitment to safeguarding the integrity of national travel documents and to cooperating with international partners in combating fraud and irregular migration. The Global Document Fraud Report of 2026 states that the global document fraud is experiencing a significant surge with a reported 28.5% year-over-year increase in tampered documents in 2025. Driven likely by the rise of generative AI, Gen AI, and the industrialization of fraud as a service. Document fraud has transformed from a niche, high-skilled craft into a high-volume, automated supply chain, with 1 in 10 documents submitted to financial services now considered high risk. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police has charged Oyster with knowingly possessing a forged passport. Osman Jatta, QTV News.
From that report, we will now go for a commercial break, and when we return, we have more national news stories. Do stay tuned. Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, this is QTV News, and I am Umudu Gajaga. To commemorate the 10th anniversary of the resumption of diplomatic relations between China and the Gambia, the 23rd Medical Team has donated medicines worth $1 million to Bansang General Hospital in the Central River region. The team also conducted free medical outreach at the hospital. Osman Jatta again.
China continues to expand its support to the Gambia through its embassy, with healthcare cooperation remaining a key pillar of the partnership. Bansang, the long-standing base of the China Medical Team, has witnessed decades of medical collaboration between the two countries. Over the past 10 years, since the resumption of diplomatic relations, this partnership has grown significantly. In its latest intervention, the 23rd China Medical Team to the Gambia presented medical supplies worth $1 million to Bansang General Hospital, aimed at strengthening healthcare service delivery in the Central River region. Receiving the items, the Chief Executive Officer of Bansang General Hospital, Dr. Ma Sirending Jai, expressed appreciation for the continued support, noting that it complements government's effort to improve healthcare services.
It's a very, very important thing, and we want to use this opportunity to appeal to the team to do this very frequently, not every 2 years. I think that is too long. Probably if we can have this every 6 months, we'll be happy. I think every 6 months should do, and so that we have the team here. And another thing is, the last year, I remember when they came here, the cardiologist was able to diagnose a lot of people with some problems that probably we were not able to detect. All this is because of the expertise. And that is why we appeal to the Chinese medical team to help our hospital in terms of training train our people in capacity building.
The activities mark a decade of renewed diplomatic ties between China and the Gambia, during which both countries have recorded progress in medical services, specialist support, material assistance, malaria control, and capacity building. Chancellor His Excellency Tang Zhan of China's embassy reaffirmed China's commitment to deepening health cooperation and strengthening bilateral relations.
Hospital for our China medical team, also something very special, some place very special. So we should continue to carry on our friendship in the past 40, 50 years. So at this occasion, I will say that I will try my best to invite the China medical team to come here more frequently. Yeah.
Governor Usman Ba highlighted the need for increased training for healthcare workers, citing rising demand and the growing complexity of medical cases in the region.
You may know we are a developing country. Yes, we are moving, but we are moving very slowly. And we definitely need partners like you to complement our government's efforts. So we have been fortunate to have the new accident and emergency by the entrance. The construction will be ready very soon, but we will also appeal, because it's not only the building, but what is going to be inside the building, the equipments, and also, the medications. So we will want to appeal if you can extend your hands in that regard as well.
During the outreach, the China medical team provided free medical services to nearly 1,000 patients. They also conducted specialized training for local staff in electrocardiogram operations and the cardiopulmonary resuscitation (CPR). Osman Chata, QTV News.
The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, in collaboration with the Oyster Women's Association, commemorated the National Oyster Day in the Gambia under the theme Promoting a Sustainable and Inclusive Oyster Value Chain. Pakabasuso has more.
The event brought together senior government officials, women oyster groups, local authorities and members of the diplomatic community, underscoring the importance of the occasion. The event celebrates the impactful change sparked by the FIS4ACP project, implemented by the FAO with support from the European Union, German federal government and the government of the Gambia, and also to recognize women's vital role in the oyster industry. The event also highlights the importance of oyster value chain in supporting livelihoods, creating employment, food security and environmental protection and sustainability. The FAO country representative, Ms. Musibudi Rampedi, acknowledged the support of UN agencies and other partners in ensuring safety and profitability within the oyster sector.
The importance of the partnership with the Gambia Navy. You will see over there that the women are taught how to swim. The women are also taught first aid, which makes it easier to cope with their environment.
The UN resident coordinator in the Gambia, Carl Frederick Paul, and the EU ambassador to the Gambia, Immaculada Roca I. Corres, said the event promotes women's empowerment and strengthens food security in the country.
The oyster sector may appear modest in scale, but its importance is far greater than its size may suggest. It supports livelihoods, contributes to food security and nutrition, creates local employment, and it's deeply linked to the sustainable management of natural resources.
From the perspective of the United Nations in the Gambia, this celebration speaks for the intersection between human development, sustainable natural resources management, and gender empowerment. Our mandate here is to support the government of the Gambia in achieving inclusive, sustainable development as outlined in the National Development Plan.
Here is Yvonne Sambo, a young oyster harvester from Lamin.
For generations, the women of our mangroves from Tambi wetland to Katong have harvested oysters by hand. It taught skill, work, wading through cotton soaking and smoking.
The Minister of Fisheries and Water Resources, Musa Drame, reaffirmed government's commitment to supporting women in the oyster sector.
Fisheries and aquaculture remain critical pillars of our national economy. The sector currently employs over 25,000 women and men across coastal communities, and oyster harvesting alone supports supports the livelihood of hundreds of women directly, with many more benefiting indirectly through processing, transportation, and sales.
The celebrations also featured an oyster jollof rice cooking competition among women groups from Fajikunda, Abuko, Lamin, Joswang, Fonyi, and other communities. The event also included an exhibition of value-added oyster products such as vacuum packed and jarred oysters, as well as various handicrafts and other related products. The National Oyster Day celebrations reflect the revitalization of the oyster sector, as well as renewed commitment from government and development partners to ensure safety, profitability, sustainability, and environmental protection. Reporting for QTV News, Pakaba Suso.
The National Social Protection Agency commenced a 2-day capacity building workshop for media practitioners and communication officers on Monday, aimed at strengthening ethical, accurate and impactful reporting on social protection programs in the Gambia. Loliam Camara tells us more.
As part of the National Social Protection Agency's NSPA mandate to raise awareness and deepen public understanding of social protection across the country, the training aims to equip journalists with the skills and tools needed to produce well-informed stories that reflect the realities of vulnerable populations while also promoting accountability and transparency. Participants were introduced to key principles of ethical reporting, including dignity-centered storytelling and the importance of ensuring balanced narratives that reflect both challenges and progress. Samuel Williams, the communications officer at the National Social Protection Agency, NSPA, emphasized the media's role as bridge between policymakers and the public, noting that responsible reporting can shape public perceptions and influence policy outcomes.
How you can cover stories involving women, cover stories involving children ethically, and so that people know that the government of the Gambia is doing so much when it comes to social protection. The government of the Gambia is doing so much when it comes to advancing the rights of vulnerable groups, vulnerable women and children in our societies. And so that's why this activity is very, very, very important.
Sekou Jeng, Executive Director of the National Social Protection Agency, NSPA, highlighted the enactment of social protection laws in 2024 as key milestones that have strengthened the country's legal and institutional framework for social protection. Mr. Jeng said the National Social Protection Policy 2026-2035 provides a roadmap to expand coverage, improve service delivery, and promote inclusivity, especially for vulnerable groups.
This is where you, the participants who are present here today, are our partners in terms of advocating for the rights and the welfare of vulnerable people using the media and available communication spaces. So, the purpose of today's training, and of course that extends to tomorrow, is both timely and also a strategic one as far as social protection is concerned. It seeks to deepen your understanding of social protection systems, the programs, and also the instruments at your disposal, while also equipping you with the tools and perspectives that are necessary to report on them accurately, but also very responsibly.
The forum highlighted key national programs, including cash transfers such as NAFA for extremely poor households, school feeding initiatives, and youth, women, and disability support schemes. It also addressed challenges like climate change, economic instability, and inequality, which are increasing demand for stronger social protection systems, urging participants to report in ways that support informed public discourse. Mr. Jeng said the media's role will become even more important in shaping narratives that promote inclusion, resilience, and shared prosperity, urging participants to engage actively and strengthen professional networks. For QTV News, Loliam Kamal.
That's all we have time for in tonight's news edition. Thank you very much for watching. Join us tomorrow for more news and have a pleasant night. Bye.